Hey racers, and welcome to another live stream. And the topic for today's live stream is to train or not to train after a big race meet. So there was the Supercross on the weekend, there was the Pro MX on the weekend at Canberra, and just in general, there's a lot of race meets that are coming up, particularly this time of the year. I guess we're like right in the start to middle of racing season, which is great. But what I'm going to tackle today is whether you should actually be training after a race meet. Hey, John, because there's always this, I guess, like a mindset that a lot of riders have, which is, okay, you've trained really hard or you've ridden really hard. You need to take time off at the start of the week or take Monday off to recover. Okay, and I was definitely in that camp as well. Whenever I had a race meet, I would always take the next day off of training and doing stuff and just relax. Um, and part of that is the physical component, right? Like you probably pull up sore, you're fatigued. It's a big day of racing, but the other part's the mental fatigue as well. Um, when you're riding, there's a high level of concentration and a high level of intensity, but there's also other things happening as well. It's the travel, okay? It's the packing the bikes up, it's the unpacking the bikes, it's the cleaning everything, it's the washing up of everything. All the other bullshit that goes on with riding that we probably don't want to do, that we have to do to be able to go riding and racing. So, to answer the question, should you be taking time off at the start of the week for racing? And there's no clear cut answer because all of you are going to be at different levels and do different types of riding and different types of racing. So, give you a bit of insight first on how the body works, and then you can make your own mind up on whether you need to be taking Mondays off or not, or a week after every ride and race. So in your body, you have what's called your lymphatic system. And so what your lymphatic system does is pumps lymph, it's called lymph, around your body. And the whole goal of this lymphatic system is to pull shit out of your body, okay, toxins. So anytime you have any type of muscle damage, and it could be muscle damage from you've rolled your ankle, or it could be muscle damage from you've just got sore muscles, or you've muscle fibers have been torn through overuse. Okay, so for example, let's say you go and ride, you've done a heap more riding than what you normally do, you pull up sore and stiff. What happens is when those muscle fibers have any type of trauma to them, they release toxins. Okay, and so what we want to do is we want to help with recovery and to reduce the amount of swelling that we have in our body so that we can move better. We want to make sure we get rid of those toxins. So what happens is when we, like, let's say for your ankle, for example, let's say you roll your ankle, okay, usually it starts to swell up. And the reason that it swells up is because that area of your body is releasing a whole heap of toxins and they get stuck in your lymphatic system, okay, and it starts to swell up and immobilize the area so that you don't use it. That happens to the rest of your body to a lesser degree, just when you have muscle soreness, okay, muscle fatigue and things like that from hard riding or hard training. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of those toxins. We want to flush those toxins out, and we want to reduce the amount of swelling in your body. And when we can reduce the amount of swelling that you have in your body can move more fluidly, move more easily. You don't feel as stiff, and you can move a lot better and feel a lot better. Now, the way that we do that is we need to get white blood cells in there. So white blood cells come in and help us to repair the area. So I guess the toxins are the bad guys that we want to get rid of. The white blood cells are what we want to pump in there to help the area repair itself and get back to normal. Now, this lymphatic system, not a lot of people know this, is the lymphatic system only works with muscular contraction. So what that means is your muscles in your body have to be actively working for this lymphatic system to work. So for more white blood cells to go in and more toxins to go out, there has to be some sort of movement in your body. Your muscles have to be moving to some degree. So this is how active recovery works. Okay, so that's why active recovery is beneficial, and you'll always feel better after doing active recovery, is because it's low intensity, so it's not releasing any more toxins into the system and making it worse. But because active recovery is lower intensity, like doing, say, a 30-minute cycle or going for a swim for 20 minutes or going for a walk around the block, what it does is it's contracting your muscles at a very, very low intensity, which means that lymphatic system is able to work optimally. Okay, it's able to flush out toxins, bring in more white blood cells, and help you to move better and feel better. So if you're going racing, so now to answer the question, is should you be training after a race day or not? And the answer, it depends on the type of riding and racing that you're doing. So let's say you're a rider, so since we had the Nationals on the weekend, let's say you follow the National circuit and that's your main thing. You're probably, no matter how much training you do and how much riding you do, you're going to pull up sore, you're going to pull up fatigued after a big race meet like that. It's the pressure, it's the stress, it's the nerves, it's the racing, it's the rough tracks, it's the increased competition, it's the travel, it's all the rest of it that goes into it racing. So there's a component of mental fatigue and physical fatigue. So on a Monday, should you be training the day after? In terms of full-blown gym training and the stuff you normally do, probably not, okay? Because your body's not going to be in a state to be able to do that. It needs to recover from the stress that it's been under on Sunday. What should you be doing? What I recommend is doing active recovery, okay? So what active recovery is again, just getting that lymphatic system working and just doing enough for your muscles to contract and work a little bit so that that lymphatic system is operating and working, okay? If you have a race day, for example, on Sunday you raced at Canberra, and then you went into Monday yesterday and you're really sore and really fatigued, but you just do nothing, okay? You just sit on the couch and watch TV and don't move your body at all. What happens is the opposite starts to happen, okay? Instead of that lymphatic system working and white blood cells doing what they need to do to repair the area and toxins being flushed out, those toxins begin to build up because there's nothing there flushing them out, okay? So it doesn't have to be intense exercise, okay? In fact, we don't want it to be intense exercise because that's going to release more toxins into the system. We want low intensity training, steady state cardio. Hey, Nathan, the stuff I tell you not to do too much of, do that stuff, okay? So it could be an easy half-hour cycle ride, maybe a light mountain bike, maybe just a walk around the block, maybe tick over on the exercise bike, maybe go for a walk on the treadmill. Just something really easy and light to get that lymphatic system working. So that's one option that you have. Hey, John, another option that you have is you can do things like foam rolling. Foam rolling also helps to move lymph around your lymphatic system, or a massage, okay? The way that works is think about your lymphatic system. Think about it like a pipe, right? So let's say it's like a garden hose. And let's say there's a whole heap of mud there in that garden hose, and you want to get that mud out, okay? What massage does and what mobility does is helps to push that. It's like pushing down on the hose, pushing all the mud out, pushing all the mud out. That's how, so foam rolling is also a great option. Massage, if you want to go and get a massage, you can do that. Swimming, like I chatted about on yesterday's video, go down to the swimming pool, okay? Just do some very nice, easy laps. Go for a walk in the swimming pool. The reason swimming pools are great is because they're low impact, okay? The water takes away your body weight. So your joints don't have extra load on them, your muscles don't have extra load on them, but you can still move your body and get your lymphatic system working. The other thing that you can do, hey Jason, and if you guys are finding this valuable so far, please give the video a like. Lets me know that we're on the same page and you're finding it helpful, and also lets me know that you're on the video as well. The other thing that you can do is hot and cold contrast therapy, right? So this is something we can all do where you can jump in the shower, put it on freezing cold, so no hot water at all, freezing cold for say 15, 20 seconds, and then you could do 40 seconds of hot. Okay, so 20 seconds freezing cold, 40 seconds hot. Do 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of that. If you're at a swimming pool, sometimes at swimming pools they'll have a spa section and then they have the normal water. You can jump in between those and spend time in each of those and do a similar thing. And so they're really the best options, okay, that you have. The worst option is doing nothing. And that's what I used to do on racing, okay? Recovery is not doing nothing. There's a difference between recovering and there's a difference between doing nothing, okay? Doing nothing is not recovering. So when you go and do these active recoveries, you're probably not going to feel like doing them at the start, okay? You're going to be stiff, you're going to be sore, probably lethargic, mentally and physically fatigued. You're probably not going to feel like going for a 20-minute walk or going down to the swimming pool or, doing things like that. But that's where you need to just go anyway, okay? So these sessions, the session after you're racing isn't about flogging the shit out of yourself. It's not about training. It's not about pushing through, okay, pain and trying to fatigue yourself even more. It's about doing the things for your body that allow it to recover. It's helping to give it the tools it needs to recover, and getting that lymphatic system working is one of those tools. So that's if you're doing a really big race meets, okay, which are fatiguing you a lot. If you're not doing big race meets like that, okay, and maybe you're just doing club days or you've just gone for a ride on the weekend, okay, then on the Monday, you should be able to get back into your normal training, okay? You should be able to pick up from where you left off. All the guys that I work with, after they've worked with me for at least a couple of weeks, they can start training on the Monday straight after they're riding and racing on the weekend, okay? As long as it's not a massive event for them, it's something a little bit more low-key. Might be 4 or 5 lap races, might be a club day, not as competitive, not as rough, not as much stress, then you can get back in on Monday, okay? And that's fine. You should be able to pick up from where you left off the previous week and be able to keep building. The only reason you wouldn't be able to do that, hey Reese, the only reason you wouldn't be able to pick up on Monday is because you've pulled up so sore and so fatigued from doing 4 or 5 laps on the weekend. And the reason that you would pull up so sore from 4 or 5 laps on the weekend and feel like you've just wiped yourself out is because the training you're doing is not working. Either you're not doing the right training, first of all, and so you're not fit enough, and all the stuff you're doing during the week actually isn't crossing over to your racing on the weekend. And that's really all it comes down to. Either you're not training at all or doing anything, and that's a problem. That's why you're pulling up so sore, which in that case, getting back to training on Monday is not going to be a problem for you because you're not training anyway. But the other problem, like I just spoke about, is you're not doing the right stuff. Okay, so if you're training during the week and you've been doing that for a few weeks, okay, or a few months, and you get out there and race and do a club day for 4 or 5 laps, and then on Monday you're so debilitated that you can't do any training, you can't do anything, your training system's broken. Okay, you're either not eating properly and fueling yourself properly during the week and on race day, you're not doing the right type of strength work or any strength work, and you're not doing the right type of cardio work. Okay, doing 4 or 5 lap races on the weekend is not a reason for you to wipe out the rest of the week and not go to training. Okay, especially on a Monday. You should definitely, if you're doing 3 1-hour blocks of training every week, if you're doing that at a minimum or more, and you're still not fit enough on a race day to be able to get through 4 or 5 lap motos, and you can't train on the Monday, then we really need to have a chat. Okay, and you need to send me a private message right now because what you're doing is not working. Okay, you need a system that's going to work to get your results on the weekend. And the reason that that's important, the reason I talk about getting back into training on Monday, is you want to keep up your momentum with your fitness work. Okay, what I find happens is for a lot of riders is they don't train properly. And they get stuck in this cycle is where they don't train properly and they're not doing the right stuff. They go and ride on the weekend and their training's not helping them. So they get absolutely flogged. They're fatigued. They're really sore. They can hardly move. It takes somebody half a week just to get back to feeling normal. By the time they feel normal again, it's time to start getting ready for the next weekend. And then you don't want to go to training at the end of the week because you're like, shit, I haven't trained all week. I'm going to be sore from my training. So I don't want to do that because I'm going racing this weekend. And then you get stuck in this cycle, right? And that all comes from having a shitty program or not having a program that's actually helping with your racing. When you have a program that helps with your racing, it's the opposite because you can train all week, you get to racing on the weekend and you feel better and you recover better because you've been doing the right training. Because you feel better and you recover better, you can get back to training on Monday. And when you get back to training on Monday, you can keep that momentum going with your training from the previous week. Keeping in mind, when you're consistent with your training, you don't get sore from your training anymore, okay, or as sore, as fatigued. When you keep taking time off training and coming back to training, okay, like you take a week off after a race or take 3 or 4 days off and then get back to training, you're always going to feel sore from your training because your body's always starting again. It's always like you're coming off the couch and starting again and your body's never adapting to the training. Once you get into a routine with training, you can train 3 or 4 times a week and ride on the weekend and not be sore, not be fatigued. Your performance actually continues to improve and build on itself rather than it always feeling like it's coming backwards. Okay, but that comes down to having the right strategy, guys. You have to be doing the right training to have that positive flow and effect. Otherwise, what I see for a lot of guys is that they have the opposite. They have a negative flow and effect. Okay, and the only time they feel like they can really get any training in is pre-season. So they're trying to cram all this training in before racing's even started. And it doesn't work like that. Okay, you need a system where you can keep the momentum going, you can keep training, and that comes down to the right training, and then like I talked about, recovery, doing the right recovery as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you can give me a like for the video if you enjoyed it, that would be great. That lets me know, lets other people on Facebook, other races also see the content that I put out, which helps a lot. If any of you guys would like help with building momentum and making sure that you have the right system and right program in place, okay, and you're moving in the right direction and you can train the day after a race day rather than having to take a week off every time you ride the bike, then send me a private message. Let me know what type of riding you do, and then I'll see if I can help or not. But otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. There will be plenty more videos coming out, and I'll chat to you guys soon. See ya.